All right. This is the first live from our new YouTube channel. We're doing this thing where we do a different themed show every day of the week, every weekday. And Thursdays have been our, weekly updates. We're still doing weekly update. We invited Gavin to come join us. He may or may not be joining us this morning. We haven't heard back from him yet today. But they're doing some amazing things with SOVDEX and SOVEOS. And so we'll chat about those as well. There's tons of news. But one thing I kind of want to do, I want to start each one of these shows a little bit early, so that we can play some kind of music or video from the uplift.world. And then we're going to actually do a little something inside the cathedral itself. And then we'll get on with the day's business of seeing what the crap is going on with the EOS these days. So we'll be back in a couple minutes.
Gratitude rising up from the ground. A gratitude rising up from the ground. A gratitude rising up from the ground. A gratitude rising up from the ground. Burn it down. Gratitude rising up from the ground. Light it up. Burn it down. Gratitude rising up from the ground. So light it up and burn it down. Gratitude rising up from the ground. Light it up. So burn it down. Gratitude rising up from the ground. Light it up. Oh, light it up. Oh, light it up. Oh, light it up. Light it up. Burn it down. Gratitude rising up from the ground. Light it up. Burn it down. Gratitude rising up from the ground. Light it up. Burn it down. Gratitude rising up from the ground. So light it up, burn it down. Gratitude rising up from the ground. Light it up, burn it down. Gratitude rising up from the ground. So light it up and burn it down. Gratitude rising up.
Whoa, did that just start over again? Hold on. Too much fun stuff going on at one time.
I like it. There's a couple new things there for me I haven't seen before. The volcano. I haven't seen that before.
No one has seen the volcano until this morning because I just found out that it existed.
That's awesome. And
Yeah.
You want to give us a rundown of what the volcano's for? Because I think it's a super cool idea.
So I have always wanted to do this. The second that I found out that you could burn cryptocurrency, and I'm hanging out in Minecraft and we're doing all this, world building stuff. It always seemed to me that, it'd be kind of fun to sort of ritually sacrifice that, right? Because I'm always trying to figure out, okay, there's the mechanics of burning. It increases scarcity and increases rarity for the token or for the asset that's involved or whatever. So that's all kind of fun. But to me, it could be a cultural thing. It could be an event. It could be a thing where as an example, Wax could send a representative into the uplift, and we could take the long hike up the volcano. And they could basically click a button up there that's connected to their wallet, that's connected to the burn mechanics that burns all of the wax P that is collected for that purpose. With the economic activity that they basically use to kind of call a percentage out and then burn it, which I think is freaking genius. And I didn't know about it at all. Right. So that volcano's up there for burning, bad thoughts, for burning old habits, for sacrificing to the volcano whatever you wanted to sacrifice to the volcano, and I think it's going to be too much fun.
Yeah, I like it. It's a really cool idea. I think it's pretty sweet. So, yeah, I don't know if Gavin's going to come or not, but like you pointed out before the show, we got tons of information. So maybe while we wait for him, we can go over the revamp and the idea that essentially you had, and if you have anything else that you want to do on the uplift, we can do that. And,
I do.
Sure.
I do. And I want to actually hit our guests with this every time we do a show. Just take a quick second. Yeah, right off the top. And you tell me, because you could play the guest today. You tell me the one thing that you're most grateful for today or in the world. It could be big, could be small. It doesn't matter. One thing that you're grateful for right now. And I'm actually going to write that up on the permanent monuments during sunrise.
Yeah, I'm grateful to be doing and expanding EOSIO Weekly with you, actually. And I'm also grateful for your love of Canadian spelling.
It's all about that Canadian spelling. So again, for anybody who doesn't know, these are the gratitude monuments that live inside the cathedral that is at the very literal center of the uplift.world, which is the Minecraft layer, the visual place layer that's going to exist for all of our various EOSIO and cryptocurrency and blockchain projects and games. It's gonna be messed up and fantastic. Anyway,
that unlike the first cathedral can never be destroyed.
It's true. Yeah, that's a whole other story. The first one that we built got completely destroyed. This is actually the second one. We had to move this one. We had to do the second one because the other one got filled up with gratitudes. It's like so many of these monuments inside it. And then when we ran out, we started putting it up on the walls. Anyway, so there you go. We did a little sunrise together. We did a little freaking tune. I don't know about you, but I kind of feel like that might be a fun way to start the mornings.
Yeah, I like it. Well, it's evening here for me, but I like it. It's good. It's a good way to wind down for me. From the land of the rising sun, actually. But let's take a step back and go over what's going on, because I think you had a really cool idea. We're in the middle of the bull market. We're super busy with some projects that we're working on together, some things that we're doing individually and separately, and somehow our paths have crossed. And what we've been doing for the last few weeks has been really cool. And you reached out to me last week and you said, hey, how about we expand this? How about we make it bigger and better? And I thought this might be kind of cool. And what came out of it, I think, is way better than what I was thinking it was going to be. And so yeah, we basically have come up with, we're going to keep EOSIO Weekly update on Thursdays, because this is what we do. This is where we started. And we'll keep doing the posts like we do with the information and the news from what we feel is important from the week ahead. But we're going to add more guests and more people to come in and talk to us pretty much every single weekday. And we've got a pretty sweet lineup for topics and for guests. So I think we kicked it off kind of unofficially yesterday with Anders. Any observation? I came in for the first episode of Media Moguls, something that we're terming Media Moguls. And this was one of the ones that you kind of threw in there. Do you want to kind of explain what Media Moguls is?
Yeah. So one day a week, and of course it's going to be on Wednesdays. I wanted to talk to, and I think influencers is kind of a dumb name, but the people that are helping to spread the word about EOSIO projects. And they tend to be, especially in this space, they tend to be, super excited. They tend to be, really prepared to kind of celebrate the new things that are coming out, which something I really enjoy. And they tend to be educators because, again, like most people in cryptocurrency are new people in cryptocurrency or blockchain. And so, people like, Ken Bosak or EOS Nation or, Anders is the perfect example, right? Of people that are in the space, creating content, creating more understanding, more education, more onboarding, right? So chatting with them one day a week just seemed like something that you and I personally would benefit from, but then anybody else who happened to join us are obviously, going to be doing, getting some value out of that as well.
Yeah. So like you said, Anders was perfect for that. So there's in the links below, in the actual post, there's last night's episode, and we had a lot of fun. It was pretty cool, and he had some really cool stuff to say. Next week, we're gonna have Ken Bosak on, which would be super fun. So make sure to tune in for that. That's on Wednesday, and on Thursday we'll do this regular EOSIO weekly update. On Friday, we're gonna do NFT Game Day, because we're in the middle of the NFT game and space almost every single day with Uplift Art, now with the Uplift, meeting cool people like Anders and your love for wax and stuff like that. So this is going to be super fun. We're going to kick that off tomorrow with I always have issues saying his name because I can never get it, but I think it's Stefan from EOS Nation to talk about Van City and their second episode and some other cool stuff as well. And then on Monday, we're going to do something which I wanted to dub BP and Chill, because I think it's going to be pretty fun to reach out to different BPs and go and talk to them. We've got some pretty good ones lined up. Who do we got for Monday lined up, Corey?
Monday is Michael from EOS USA, who's also now helping us out with some of the technology that is going to be going into the Uplift world. It's basically when you're in world, you're going to be getting rewards for people walking around on your land or building on your land. And not only that, but of course, players will get rewards for doing stuff as well. And he's basically helping us with the cryptocurrency side of that. So, and on top of that, Alien Worlds expert. BP across many of the EOSIO spaces, whether it's wax or EOS or whatever, and just a super fun guy. Like for me, like talking to really, really technical people is always really fun because I have no clue what they're saying half the time. So it's always really educational for me. But he's also just super chill and super fun. We'll probably get an earful about the cabal and how we're going to take over a planet and. So
yeah, he's one of the nicest guys in the space. I've actually
really is. He's cool.
I interviewed him for Genpool Spotlight. He was our first Genpool Spotlight interviewee in written form. But I've actually never met him face to face. So I've talked to him extensively through that interview and other channels, but I've never actually met him. So I'm pretty excited about that to actually to meet him in person because I like what he brings to the space. And then on Tuesdays, we're going to do a segment called I've renamed this like 5 times. And the reason that I came up with what I came up with was just out of the fact that we're supposed to have Gavin and Sov on today, and it was a memory that popped into my mind from a long time ago. So it's a segment that we're going to call Tech Talk on a Tuesday. And
that's so terrible. And it's so terrible that I want to keep it. Tech
so
Talk
terrible.
on a Tuesday.
No, but I thought let's do something cool like Tech Tuesdays or Techie Tuesdays. But then I was putting together this post, and I remembered when Sov released one of their products. I can't remember whether it was SovDex or whether it was an update or whether it was like just the Sov coin or something. They put out a Medium post, and there was a meme on it that said like something like new release on a Tuesday, and I just thought that was hilarious. I thought that, like, everyone,
I like it.
These big posts. So.
For the, like the technology thing, maybe we should say like a technology focused podcast conversation in specific order, giving very exacting information on a Tuesday at 9:00 Eastern Standard Time. 0.00.
Yeah,
technology. It's terrible. It's terrible.
It's terrible. But anyway, I like it. So we're keeping it. Tech Talk on a Tuesday. And next week,
every time you say it, I'm like, that's so good.
So next week for Tech Talk on a Tuesday, we're actually going to have Jonah from Atomic Assets. He's going to come and join us. And I actually made cover images for some of these posts to put down in the links below. And I'm pretty sure I have a really good one for Jonah that's not there yet. And if it is there, when it does get there, there's a really cool story, I think, to come along with it. But I can't spill the beans right now because I'm not 100% sure. It's either Jonah or a doppelganger. And so let's hold off and we'll spill the beans maybe when he's on here live because that'll be cool. But Tech Talk on a Tuesday. And then we're back to Media Moguls, which is Ken Bozak, sorry. And that's our week in review. And I'm thinking for these posts, what we should do is on Thursday, I guess at the very bottom of the YouTube. So you posted some notes to the YouTube channel, and then that's linked to our big EOS Weekly post. And at the bottom of that post, there is actually an outline of everything that's upcoming for the week, so that you can see. And maybe you're not interested in tech, or maybe you're not interested in listening to other influencers speak, but you're really into games. That's cool. Tune in every Friday for NFT Game Day. Come and see what you want to see. Take part in what you can. Watch the playbacks that are of interest. I'm also thinking if I have time on a Saturday or a Sunday, I'll try to do a brief NFT roundup, a brief roundup, EOSIO Weekly roundup post where we just go through give a little descriptor of all of the posts that happened in the week, Monday to Friday, and so you can tune in and catch the replays of any that might interest you. So that's the new rebranded, evolved EOSIO Weekly. I'm
stoked, man, because we're starting this whole the uplift out world, and honestly, like, we've been thinking a lot about how to invite the entire NFT army to come in and just have like a total head start in the world. Which is fun. So welcome to all the NFT army. I'm gonna actually start sending some NFTs out here pretty soon. But that idea has been popping around in my head, like to take a Minecraft world and use that as a visual place layer for a cryptocurrency kind of NFTs or game or whatever, right? For probably a year and a half. But it was talking with, we did a blitz of episodes, and I did a bunch for Chirpcast. It was talking with like probably a dozen people. That suddenly all the pieces I realized were all just sitting there, right? They're all like, everything's just ready. The game mechanics are there. The technology is there. The place is there. The culture behind it is just waiting to exist. And so it's selfish. I'm telling you right now, other than the fact that like talking to you more is really fun. I just realized the best way that I could serve myself for real was to just talk to more of these people faster. Because this is a bull market. We don't have time to fuck around.
Yeah, and maybe we do, but we don't. Even if we do have time to fuck around, I mean, we want to do this, while other projects are fucking around,
Yeah. That makes almost no sense, but I'm entirely here for it.
Because that's what's going to happen, right? We don't really know what's going to happen, but like what we do know, or I don't know. I could be completely wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. What we do know is that like NFTs and gaming is going to be one of the strongest use cases for crypto and blockchain. And like nobody's here yet. And, Ultra is looking pretty cool from the EOSIO space. But they're just coming out with their beta. You can check out a great video that's in the post below on their beta. It looks really cool. But Wax is pretty established, and they've got like almost no traction because for whatever reason, everything in EOS is in the walled garden. And now with the Wax, kind of bridge to Ethereum and the DeFi, I think things are set to explode, in the next 2 or 3 months. And once gamers and collectors and artists and musicians start onboarding, I mean, as our good friend M Blue says, all you need is one big name musician, and Emanate kind of proved that with names escaping me now. Who was the Canadian musician that just released on Emanate an NFT series on Wax?
I don't know.
Yes, you do. You loved it.
I did.
Yes. I'm drawing a complete and utter blank. It'll come to me anyway. Yeah, sorry.
No problem.
Yeah, we'll figure it out later. So, and we got some lots of people here in the comments. It's great, and some people I haven't talked to in a while. So, Skywalker, hello. That's nice to see you here.
Yeah, I'm like rushing some I'm doing some uplift art ones today. Some people are getting 1, some people are getting 2. It's random. Yeah, I'm getting NFTs out to everybody. I freaking love the NFT army, man. These guys are cool. Anytime we can. Sometimes we're talking too much and I can't really do giveaways out as quickly as I can. By the way, Sparky.wham, your account didn't work.
It's okay if you want to do some giveaways, because I've got some rants I can rant about.
Well, this is the thing. Like, we got a lot to talk about with the EOSIO stuff. So
yeah,
so we just go right to Dan Larimer. Like what's the deal with that? And can you give us a synopsis of what you were saying? Like, Kurt had a big rant about it. I didn't actually see it. Like, yeah,
it was great. So again, they're all in the post below. There's a bunch of tweets, and I usually don't do this, but this week I decided to put the tweets in chronological order. Kurt from Chirped App, he had an amazing rant, and the video is in the video section for this week's video. But basically what happened was Dan Larimer came out on Hive, and he basically resigned from Block.one, which it was funny because I happened to be on Twitter at the same time, and I kind of was interacting with Luke Stokes, who we had on last week. And he's just like, he kind of, and me were kind of thinking along the same lines. He basically said that essentially this can't really be real, because why would Dan Larimer post on Hive? He hasn't posted on Hive ever. He's got the keys because of Steam, but now that it's been ported, he's never done that. Maybe his account got hacked, it's possible. But then a couple minutes later, it showed up on Voice, and it's kind of like, I don't think Dan Larimer is the type of guy who's going to get like all of his accounts hacked. But nothing got said from Block.one, nothing got said from Brendan Blummer, nothing got said from, Dan himself, from his Bytemaster Twitter account. Nobody really knew what was going on. I guess it finally came out where Block.one basically put out a post that said, Dan has decided to resign. And of course, all the Ethereum, fudders came out and said, well, you shouldn't be surprised because, he quit everything. He quit BitShares. He quit Steemit. He's just a quitter, big scam type of stuff. And I needed to take some time to kind of come up with my own personal idea, but I also needed to take some time to come up with an article that I was working on for EOS Go. So I can't always say what I want to say. Because certain projects that I'm affiliated with, right, I can't just speak for them. That's why I like doing this show, because I can say what I want to say, right? So that's good. But Kurt, I watched Kurt's little rundown of it, and the way that he came across it. And if you don't know Kurt, or if you don't follow Kurt can be very critical of Block.one and EOS at times. But it's a good critical. It's not like a FUD critical. It comes from like a good heart, both you and I, you more so than me, know him, but he's got a good heart. He stands for what he believes in, and he's not afraid to point out when he thinks something is wrong. But his little kind of synopsis of what happened was brilliant, and it came out in the community. Basically, you can follow all the threads below, but it came out in the community basically later on that the general consensus for people who still believe in EOS, still believe in Block.one, is that essentially probably what happened was Dan's ideas for liberty, being a libertarian, and freedom, and all of the things that he's been fighting for since the very beginning, when he was interacting with Satoshi, kind of Bitcoin origin era, were kind of at conflict with what Block.one was trying to do with regulation and pro-fi and being compliant with government rules. Brendan Blummer came out today or yesterday actually, and basically said that they had no idea that Dan was going to, leave at that time. Like, they kind of knew that he was going to leave at some point, but they didn't know that he was just going to announce it to the world and disappear. So they don't really have a CTO. Instead, what they've decided to do is different divisions are going to get different people who are in charge. And that kind of seems like an interesting idea. There were some comments about, was there kind of issues in the back room? Brendan said, no, they're friends. They kind of respect one another. It'll be interesting to see what Dan does. Maybe he might build on EOS. I mean, maybe he can build stuff on EOS. He might not build anything on EOS. He might go and do his own thing. In my opinion, it doesn't really matter. I mean, another post that is in the read the EOS Go post that's in the post below, because I think that's a really good take as well. And there's a lot of information in there. But essentially, the world has been shitting on Block.one and Dan Larimer for not doing anything for the last year. And then he leaves and the world shits on him for leaving. So you're always going to have people that are kind of shitting on you, right? And so here's my take. I personally think that he probably hasn't been doing that much anyway. Block.one has incredible funding with the amount of as you point out all the time, with the amount of BTC that they have. They're crazy worried about compliance. They're probably one of the only blockchains that are set up to be actually compliant when the regulations come down, because they've already kind of dealt with the SEC. It doesn't necessarily mean that all projects on EOS will be okay, but they should probably be okay. Don't quote me on that. I mean, the SEC could always come back and double dip because it's a new chain.
Well, think about this though too. They got a $25 million fine. They raised $4 billion. Yeah, that's exactly. What, 0.25%? Or 0.025%. I don't even know. But it's all I know is it's really small. They didn't feel it, right? But at the same time, figuring out, and Proton's doing this too, and I think it's really smart. The hyper libertarians, fuck you, government, yada yada yada. Good luck. Enjoy that, right? And we need those people to be pushing the boundaries of what's possible, because the regulators aren't perfect, and that's probably the understatement of the millennia, right? We know that they're at their very best, they're very flawed. But it's a situation where now I think the technology and the community behind it is maturing to the level that a lot of institutional money is coming in. A lot of and this is where you start looking at insurance companies and massive legal exposure, and companies that are putting their balance sheets on the line, yada yada yada. Right. So all of this redounds to wanting to be on the right side of a regulatory picture that allows cryptocurrency to be what it can be. Right. People creating value on the blockchain, and being bankless, and all these benefits that don't necessarily require not having any KYC or whatever, right? There's things that they can do. So EOS wanting to be on the right side of that is just smart, and it's they've got 4 billion reasons to try not to fuck this up. Yeah. And so again, and I've been critical of B1 as well, and I think their communication strategy is very wanting, but it really could be that their hands are completely and totally tied by the SEC for what they can say for this thing that they went and did and raised $4 billion on, and ultimately lost, right? It's a $25 million fine, but they lost. And so their hands could be entirely tied around that. So the fact that they're talking about still engaging that with wrap Bitcoin and different things, it's a big deal, right? So it's a possibility. We just don't know yet.
Yeah, and like like you said, I think maybe that is part of the issue with Dan. Maybe that's why he just said, I'm going to leave, because I want to be able to say what I want to say. Like, he's already
even do what he wants to do, right? Like, what if he's got like a kick-ass plan to try something else and literally can't do it as a member of B1?
Yeah, I agreed. Now here's the kicker, though. This is the third time he's kind of left the project. There's some pretty serious evidence that he kind of got pushed out of Steemit back in the day by one of the other big guys, Ned or something like that. So maybe him leaving that is a little bit of FUD. And as for BitShares, I mean, that was kind of his first project, but his father is actually running that project. So I don't know, like if I give my father something, I don't really think I'm running away from it. You know what I mean? Like,
right, you're still pretty connected.
So and then now, with Block.one, basically Block.one raised all this money. They've got an amazing tech team. They've acquired EOS New York, which was, at that time, one of the most proficient block producers. It's possible that they're actually better off without Dan. No disrespect to Dan. And it's possible that like Dan is better off without them, right? Nobody really knows what's going to happen. But what kind of surprised me is there was some like really harsh fallback at the very beginning. Like Colin Talks Crypto, who has the largest proxy on the EOS network, released a video the next day that basically said, I'm done, I'm out, I've sold all my EOS, and I'm closing my proxies. Fair enough. I think it's a little bit premature. I mean, I like Colin. I watched his video. It's again below. It's a good video to watch. I know some people think he's pretentious, but he always was the person to kind of speak the truth. I don't always agree with his ideas about, collusion and things like that. But another person I've interviewed, and he's a really good person to talk to. So I was kind of surprised that he left the system, the ecosystem, so quickly. You entertained the idea of us actually starting a proxy. I'd be interested to hear if people would be interested in, if that would be worth our time, because I think what we're building here with EOSI Weekly and BP and Chill, we're going to get to know a lot of block producers on an intimate level. Yep. You see what I did there?
I see what you did there. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And especially talking to Anders and obviously developing a relationship with Mike from EOS USA, and I'm still I know Adriana's really busy, but I've had amazing chats with her. I'd really love to get her on, to represent Cypherglass and their activities. So yeah, I mean, we could make our own proxies, whatever, right? Or guilds, I guess aren't block producers on Wax or guilds. But the more I talk we talked to Anders, it kind of, I was like, maybe we should just pick one, right? We should just promote one.
Yeah, I'm all for Anders.
That way we don't have to do it, right? Because Anders knows more than I do about all of them.
Yeah,
for sure, right?
Yeah.
So like maybe just promoting his might be a little bit simpler, and that way anyone who's plugged into our community gets that benefit anyway, right?
Yeah, on Wax. And I know one of the guys from Boyd runs a really good Telos one as well. He's always telling me about it and asking me to write articles to make Telos better, but I get lost in the streams. So yeah, I think we definitely should recommend those in the Telos and the Boyd. In the Telos and in the Wax network. We'll have to see what happens with EOS proxies. Personally, right now, I usually use something that's on genpool.io because I think what Gener EOS is doing is really cool. I'm a little bit biased there because I do some work with them, but we're actually going to have them on hopefully in the next 2 or 3 weeks, and I think you'll be stoked to meet them. It might be our first 4-person episode, actually.
Okay.
And I actually get both the CEO and the tech advisor on, and they're really cool guys. Like, you know, we just really recently did a DeFi network kind of cross Telegram interview type of thing. And that one of the guy from the DeFi network asked, like, what's something that you didn't know about, that the community doesn't know about you? And Tim, one of the guys, he basically said that he got a restraining order from Snoop Dogg one time.
What? How do you get it? Really?
Yeah.
All right.
And Ralph, who's their technical guy, he's currently basically driving around Australia in a motorhome, working from like the motorhome. So I'm super excited to have these guys on. I think we're going to click with them really well, and it'll be super fun. So look forward to that in the next 2 or 3 weeks. We've got some other great guests coming up as well. I got totally off topic, but we've got Yves LaRose is on in the next couple of weeks. We got Bonds Manifest from Prospectors on in the next couple of weeks. Yeah, a bunch of different people lined up. But back to the EOS thing. I mean, EOS is going to be fine. I mean, Dan's great. He's a brilliant mastermind. But the way that they handled this, the way that this was handled, was atrocious. It was like a child, you know, trying to steal candy at a grocery store when mom's paying for something. Like, it was really bad. That it essentially destroyed the image. I'm kind of the mindset now that maybe Block.one can be forgiven a little bit. It kind of seems like Dan went a little bit rogue. So maybe, you know, going forward, that's going to be good. We're going to have new people in power. We're going to have new things happening. Hopefully, you know, they get this Pro-Fi thing going and this kind of communication stuff going, and we have a much better, you know, path going forward. And like, again, there's a lot in the weekly post. So if you're interested in it, rather than just listening to me ramble on, because I'm you know, I can speak, but I'm a much better at writing and finding content that, you know, has detail, because I get sidetracked. But what I will say is, I think in the end, this is probably going to be good. And if you look at what happened with the token prices, don't believe any of the FUD that's out there. It's like, oh my God, Dan Larmer left Block.one, and now the price is crashing. I mean, dude, look at every other chart. Bitcoin price crashed by, like, what was it? $5,000 the other day. Like, Ethereum crashed by like hundreds of dollars. Like, no, not like EOS crashed, like, I think it crashed like 18% or something. Like,
yeah, it was a lot, but it was when everything else was crashing. Like,
yeah, like it was less than most of the other projects. It was way less than what like Stellar crashed. I mean, to be fair, it didn't get like 120% run up the week before, but
yeah, but it got like a 25% run up, or almost 30 probably. Like, it got up to like 370. It's been hanging out at like 260, 270 for a long time. This is the thing. Like, I think
that's what pissed me off, man. It was like sabotage. Like, it just started to move, and then the next day, Dan's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna leave Block.one," and like,
yeah,
dude, man, that I was pissed. I'm just like, come on, like, timing, seriously, timing. I mean, like, what did you just wake up in the morning and decide? Really? Oh, I'm gonna resign on a Tuesday.
Hold on, though, we don't know, right? Like, what if they're in the process of accumulating a bunch of EOS back, and they just wanted to drive the price down to get more while it's low?
You heard it here first. When they get arrested for market manipulation, Corey called it.
No, like market manipulation in crypto isn't even really illegal. It's just stuff that happens, right? Like, and like, let's face facts. Market manipulation on Wall Street is the same way. And now, granted, please understand, that was a total speculation. I'm not usually one to just kind of throw those out there like it happened. I don't know. You don't know. We don't know, right? That's really the only thing I really want to say, is that we don't actually know what happened. And there could be a lot of things going on that they might announce later. They might not. We have no idea. Now, EOS might work to me. Like, and I just actually messaged Adrian, by the way, from Wombat. He's fantastic. The first time, you know, he sat down with me for a podcast, I knew I wanted to talk to him more. So we're going to see if we can book him for Tech Talk on a Tuesday. I love it. but they're building on EOS, right? There's so many people that are still building on EOS mainnet. It's still extremely viable. It's 100 times more viable than freaking Ethereum, right? Although, I mean, I think, you know, Wax is set to eat their lunch on NFTs and DeFi. But I mean, there's tons of smart people working on EOS that don't require any of this stuff. And once some capital starts to understand the benefits of that and starts to move into it, the price will follow, right?
Yeah. And I completely agree with that. It's funny, like I love seeing Skywalker in the comments actually, because I met Skywalker a long time ago, and you know, he kept me up, you know, really late one night, you know, preaching to the choir about how awesome EOS was, and we had some really good conversations about it, like, but the tech. But you know, it's interesting because most of those conversations happen in private. But recently, if you look at like what Cool Wave Capital is coming out with and those types of things, like, there's more updates happening to the EOS.io, you know, infrastructure than ever before. And I think it's kind of a shame with like, again, I like Colin Talks Crypto. I think he did great things for the space. I think he tried to keep people accountable, but I think it's a shame that some of these early investors are only investors. And I say that, you know, kind of with an old world mentality in mind. Because I think what Block One is doing with code and updates for the whole of EOSIO is going to be one of the biggest things to happen in technology ever. You got people like Wax or people like Ultra or Telos or the UX network, which we haven't heard from in ages, but I'm sure they're doing something crazy. Using, adapting, modifying this technology for specific purposes to be able to optimize it for real world use. I mean, the Wax Cloud wallet is brilliant. If you're a collector that walks into a comic book store, you don't want to go through the process of trying to open an Ethereum wallet. That's absolutely ridiculous. And then getting all your money stolen because you don't understand it, right? What Ultra is looking at doing with onboarding gamers, it looks like absolutely amazing. Hopefully we'll kind of see more in the next couple of weeks, because maybe might be able to get some beta access, which would be kind of cool. But yeah, I think the people who are saying Block One should be ashamed of themselves because they're not promoting EOS, they're not promoting EOS like the value of EOS. This is the wrong mentality to me. You know, you said it a couple days ago, I think yesterday on our show, like don't tell Binance about Wax, because I want to accumulate more before the rest of the world finds out about it. Right? Like,
right? I've been like, I've almost tweeted like, why the fuck isn't everyone buying Wax? Probably a dozen times in the last 2 weeks, and then I turn around and I'm like, maybe I won't though. Shit.
Yeah.
Apparently, you need to run for a guild, Jimmy.
Yeah, dude, man, I would love to be the face of the guild, but I think that's got to be Anders, not me, man. Anders is like the wax guru. Like,
yeah,
would be cool. But,
I love that kid, and it's like, one of my favorite things is when his son just like runs into the shot. Yeah, super adorable. Yeah, that guy's knowledgeable as hell. Super fun. Like I can't wait to have him on more. He's just a really good guy.
But yeah, that I guess that's my rant out of the way. But I kind of want to shift a little bit, if that's cool. Again, read all the things below if you're interested. If you're not, well, then if you're not interested, you're probably still not here. So yeah, read all the things below that we put out in the post. But we got some pretty exciting things coming up tomorrow. Tomorrow is the 15th, and you've got kind of a new single. I guess you call it a single. I don't know. Is it called a single? Coming out? Like, do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So we're doing the Mr. Spaceman drop. I think you just get to it by going to Uplift Art, right? Did they change the front page on that yet?
Yeah, it's right there. Uplift Art, and you can also follow a link from Atomic Hub on there.
Yeah, they got the banner up on there, which is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, hold on. Let me I don't know why I just shared audio because there is none. But yeah, so this Mr. Spaceman 24-hour event, it's got some cool drops. Of course, 50% of all the revenue that comes in for all of our drops on Uplift.art is going to our mission to build a school. Blue and I, obviously had a great time doing the Series 1 drop where we released our collaboration, I'm Not the Bubble. And that was amazing. We raised like $26,000 for HaitianRoots.com. They, used it to feed, a bunch of kids down there, which was a big deal. Like the whole idea that, I could turn, music that I created, throw it on as, NFTs on the blockchain and actually feed kids in Haiti. It's still blowing my mind. And we interviewed the lady behind HaitianRoots.com and asked her what she needed the most and like what could we sort of target as a stretch goal for 2021. Well, we were thinking about building another school, but we need $450,000. And both Blue and I were like, shit. So that's what we're going to do now. And, so 50% of the revenue that we do for this next song is going to go out. The mechanics are kind of fun. We're releasing one fraction of 12 every 2 hours. And the mints 1 through 3 will be awarded randomly to the people that order within that 2 hour block. So just being speedy like Anders, he always beats me. Every time.
And that's like, I guess that's set to go live in about the first fractal will go live in about 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Is it really 2 hours now?
I think
no,
so.
It's a day. It's a day and 2 hours.
PM, right?
It's a day and 2 hours.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, right. I'm sorry. Yes, you're right.
That's because you're on the other side of the planet.
Yeah, I'm a day ahead. Yeah, you're right. So yeah, sorry, 26 hours and 15 minutes. I apologize. I'm sorry about that.
Hey, I just want to address something real quick. Skywalker, meet me at Camera One. They offered to buy your staff back. Shut the fuck up. That's it. Okay, we can move on now.
Okay, I'm okay. I don't know what's going on, but
he likes to badmouth Kurt and badmouth Nifty Whiskers. I was there for the entire thing. They tried to do the right thing by you, and you were a dick about it. So keep that shit to yourself. Okay?
Yeah, fair enough.
So anyway, Mr. Spaceman's coming out.
Yeah, so I want to. I'd like you, if you're willing, to play. I'd like you to play the Minecraft version of the song. Do we want to do that? That's pretty cool version. And I don't think anyone on this channel has seen that. So and yeah, so while you get that ready, I can
rant away.
Yeah, this isn't a rant. This is, more about the thing. But I think it's going to be a very cool series. I think it's going to be a really interesting tokenomics kind of model. You get the 12, and you also get some rights to develop some lands or in the Minecraft game, which you didn't actually mention.
Do I have to block somebody on the first day? That'd be annoying. Anyway, yeah, I mean, just seems like a bunch of silliness and drama, and I freaking hate silliness and drama. This, on the other hand, I don't hate. Pretty fun. So this is going to be going out as the 101 NFT. The person that basically spends the most on the auction, and again, 50% of all the revenue is going to be going to our Build a School mission, is going to get this 101 NFT. Boink.
Please, Mr. Spaceman, shine your light down here upon us. Help, we the people need love from a mighty hand. Whoa, 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 I'm right here. Whoa, 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 I'm right here. Please, Mr. Spaceman, shine your light down here upon us. Help, we the people need love from a mighty hand. Whoa, 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 I'm right here. Whoa, whoa, Yeah, you know, I'm happy to help you, human, but you see, first you got to help yourself, right? And you take your shoes off and you're barefoot into Mother Nature. And you go ahead and reach down, spring alive. Then you just got to lay down on the rock of sunshine and go ahead and listen to that flow of the river. And then the butterflies surround you. Just go ahead and, you know, build your world anew.
Please, Mr. Spaceman, shine your light down here upon us. Help, we the people, needing love from a mighty hand. Oh, whoa, 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 I'm right here. Whoa, whoa, oh, I'm right here. Whoa, 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 I'm right here. Whoa, whoa, oh, I'm right here. Oh, I'm right here. I'm right here. I'm right here. Whoa, I'm right here. I'm right here. I'm right here.
That's awesome, and I don't even really know the story about this, but like I was kind of in the background on some of these, you know, things that were happening with the uplift and with the music video. But I just remember when I first saw the Mr. Spaceman video, and Mr. Spaceman is actually one of my favorite mBlue videos because there's an older version that if you hunt really hard you can find it, and you know, my daughter loves that version. But this new video when he made it, I thought it's really interesting. It's got this kind of almost like a Lego movie type of esque-ness to it, and
a little bit, yeah.
And it kind of, you know, reminds me of when you're in Minecraft. And I don't know if that was intentional when he made it, but just watching this music video on the screen, like
it wasn't. That's what's crazy, right? Like he made that just the way he made it. And then obviously we started the cathedral and doing the gratitude monuments inside the cathedral. And that was a whole thing. And showing up in there, he's like, hey, do you know anyone that could build these things out? And I, you know, my friends that are all kind of building in the uplift right now, like sort of pre-release, basically I told like they might be able to get something done, and they did it in like 24 hours, which is crazy to me. Like all the things in that video, my friends whipped up, like they literally built from scratch in 24 hours. It was completely bananas. And I got to help on the rocket a little bit, and then we just got to, you know, listen to the tune, go through and take some video, and you know, these things, you know, come out the way they come out. And I think you're gonna be able to see tons more of these. Like 6 months from now, you know, everybody from the NFT army is going to be on their land, you know, making videos and releasing them, and you know, because there's this whole other layer that we can do things now. It's just, it just worked out. That's crazy.
So that's like, I was very well said. What I was going to say is just looking at the video, the original video, and comparing that to the structures that were built in the Minecraft lands in that video that you just showed. Amazing. They did an amazing job. Absolutely amazing. Like really, really, really good. So yeah, I hope all the people out there that are listening are gonna go and honestly sign in with a couple different accounts and get 2 or 3, because I'm gonna have to sleep at some point, and I'm gonna want to do some straight up trades with someone, so that I can get the whole thing and burn them to get the NFT key for that video. Yeah.
So I don't really want to get into this because we have so much positive things to talk about.
Yeah. So let's do positive things. I sent you a DM and
okay, cool.
Yeah, we'll deal with it. Like I told you, I'm having issues because for some reason I can't seem to figure out how to type without getting booted out of the stream. But yeah, let's just say this, like for the comments, what we do want to try to engage the community. I mean, so I guess this is what we're gonna say here. Is that like for the EOSIO Weekly, the whole point of doing EOSIO Weekly, when we first started it on Thursdays, the weekly update was to try to bridge the gap, because there's a really big gap between the projects, the block producers, the community, and mutually we knew that we had been interviewing a lot of people, you on camera and me in print, and we kind of wanted to be able to do that. And then your idea of coming up with like theme days and bringing different people in so that like certain people could tune in for what they're interested in. That's kind of what we want to focus on. I mean, there's going to be people watching this back that won't get the context, but so if we came up with this idea just to illustrate the point. If people want to sponsor us, we're more than happy to have a sponsor. But just because you throw money at us doesn't mean we're going to take your sponsorship. We're only going to promote you if we like what you're doing. And so this is our whole goal, is to like try to connect with the community in the comments and try to have this I hope we get them on soon, the lads guys, because they know how to do it. They do it right. But a very similar type of system where everyone can just come here, relax, have fun, enjoy, learn, get connected to the block producers, get connected to the community, get connected to be able to ask questions in the comments to, there's sometimes negativity towards projects. That's cool. We're not saying that you can't say a bad thing. I mean, I just went on a it seems like a 2-hour rant about Dan Larmer. Leaving Block One, but at the same time, let's try to engage everyone in the comments and in the content as well. That's all I'm saying. I think that's I'm all for decentralization, but the platform that we create, I'm all about editorial control, and quite frankly, you and I have it. And I want to cultivate the best and most valuable experience that we have. And if somebody wants to come on and just be, a raging ass monkey in the comments the whole time, well, that's fucking up everyone else's day. I have no time for it, and I have no sympathy for it. I think everyone just needs to calm down a little bit, cool down, because I'm kind of in the middle here, because I love you both in very different ways.
Again, like I'm all for repairing stuff and having conversations, and I think there's a time and place for all that stuff, right?
Yeah. And I think that's a good point. Yeah, let's work. If we have personal issues, like, because if it was me on the end of the stick, I'd feel kind of bad too, right? So yeah, if we have personal issues, let's try to work them out off screen.
Yeah, dude, drama drives me bananas. Like there's 18 million better things that we could have been talking about for the last 10 minutes.
Yeah. But yeah, that's I'm kind of disappointed that Gavin didn't join. Because we had a really cool. He had a really cool tweet about. Well, Dan Larmer had a tweet about like basically making a deflationary Bitcoin, which is essentially what SOV did.
They really did.
They've got the SOV deck, so maybe we'll get them on some other time. I don't know. It's my first week on Google Calendar. Maybe I screwed up the invite. I'm pretty sure I didn't, but I
don't think you did.
We'll see.
That's all right. The first time we were supposed to chat, the same thing happened. Might be too early for him or something, but
yeah,
we're gonna get him on though, because he's awesome, man. I love that guy. We'll figure it out.
We will. Next week for EOSIO Weekly Update, we've got another really cool guest, a really good mutual friend of ours. You and I might have to sumo to see, like, who is better friends. Because this
Sorry,
is
what?
awesome. You and I might have to sumo to see who is better friends, because this guy's awesome and we both love him. We're gonna get Matt Haynes from Costa Rica Crypto on next week.
I am sumoing you for that. I haven't talked to that guy. We get so busy in this space. And again, this is part of why the whole like daily thing, like just ramping up the schedule. I haven't talked to that guy in 2 months. That's too long. Yeah. Right. And then there's like 18 million things he's probably been into so far that I don't know anything about. And he's a really, really cool guy. So yeah,
and he's Skywalker, you'll like this one as well. So and thank you for your recent comments in the thing. We want you to come here, we want you to engage, but you'll like next week's episode. He's one, I think you told me, Corey, he's an influencer now on Polkadot.
I think they call them ambassadors, but
he's an ambassador on Polkadot.
I think it's just 2 months ago. He might own the thing by now. I have no idea, right? Like who knows what's going on.
Yeah, so I want to get his take on the differentiations between Polkadot and EOSIO, because that's something that both you and I are very interested in. Like they're very similar, except for the Ethereum community loves Polkadot and they hate EOS.
Well, so and this is maybe something that we can ask him, but I just was reading over the last few weeks that it's Ethereum alum, ex Ethereum people that have gone over and made Polkadot. And the back end seems to kind of rhyme, in a lot of ways with the way that EOS is set up, as far as how they run their decentralization and proof of stake and the other. I think there's a couple other layers or whatever, but so it'll be really, really interesting to hear about that. I don't know if you've seen that.
Actually, it reminds me a lot. Sorry.
Very good.
No, it reminds me a lot more of Wax in the way that they've only got a certain number of nodes set aside. I might be using the wrong terminology there, but a certain number of nodes set aside that kind of like the Wax guilds idea. So I wish I knew more, to be honest. So I'm super excited to have him on, because I think he can explain it in a way that you and I can understand from, and many of our viewers can understand from the EOSIO tech stack perspective. That's something.
In other news, Adrian from Wombat took exactly 5 seconds to respond that he's totally in. So we'll have him for one of the following Tuesday Tech Talks.
Yeah,
TED
probably.
Probably. What are we calling this thing?
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, 100%. Tech Talk on a Tuesday. So probably 3 weeks from now we'll book it.
To Skywalker's credit, Tuesday Tech Talks kind of rolls off the tongue a little bit better, but I might like the other one more because it's like it kind of charmingly awkward.
Which one was that?
The Tech Talk on a Tuesday.
Yeah. So actually, that's funny, Skywalker, because when I first named it, I named it Techie Tuesdays, and then I thought that's a little bit too childish, and then I named it like Tech Tuesdays. So Tuesday Tech Talks is good too. I'm totally going to say TED Talks though.
I probably would as well.
But yeah,
Tech Talk on a Tuesday. Like I don't know why. Like it makes me grin every time I see it. It makes me grin.
Tuesday, right?
It's a little goofy.
Tuesday
Tech Talk works too. Like that. Like that's the alliteration rolls right off your face. But anyway, we'll figure it out.
And one of the earlier, there's another good comment in there by Skywalker as well. One of the earlier conversations I had with him, he makes a really good point. The whole world will deny EOSIO. They can't handle the decentralization. I think there's other reasons that they're going to deny EOSIO, but that's a key factor. And it's crazy to me how everyone says, oh, EOS is like colluded, like it's not decentralized. Yes, there's only 21 block producers, but there's hundreds of potential block producers.
Well, and honestly, I've been saying this since I understood the way the mechanics work with EOS decentralization, right? Let's say there was only 21. There isn't. Let's say there's only 21 and not the dozens of backups that are running all the time, and they're all vying for space, right? And again, we can have long conversations about the governance model, like that. That's I think there's a lot of things that maybe EOSIO EOS mainnet could borrow from Wax Gills, whatever. That is conversation that I think things are going to evolve along those lines. But Bitcoin is far less. Just like stop what you're doing and listen to the words coming out of my face hole. Bitcoin is far less decentralized than EOS.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Right? It just is. 3 companies own way more than 50% of all Bitcoin hash rate on the planet. And all those companies talk to each other all the time, and they're all in China. Right? So they're not going to fuck it up because they need the mythology that it's decentralized to keep it going. Right? So it's like a Mexican standoff. They're never actually going to exert the power that they could exert on it, but don't get it twisted. They could do it tomorrow. And there's not a goddamn thing anyone can do about it, right? Except fork it off, and then eventually I think the market will shake it out, whatever. But when from a straight mathematical point of view, and the humans behind it, EOS is more decentralized than Bitcoin.
Yeah, I 100%. And like I think 5 or 6 different mining pools basically control the whole Bitcoin network, and
crazy.
And I think you saw the worst possible. It will never happen with Bitcoin, I don't think. But I think you saw the worst possible scenario with Bitcoin every single time Bitcoin Cash forks. Every single time, right? Like you had the Satoshi's vision, and then you had the last recent fork, ABC forked again. Like it's crazy. But I wanted to say this on the back of your rant because I think it's a good point, right? I think if there's one Chinese block producer, the people who FUD EOS will say it's still centralized in China. Like it's not to get into politics here, but it's the same thing as certain political stances, right? One of the reasons when you mentioned maybe we should start our own proxy that I was entertaining the idea is because my only issue with EOS block producers right now is that we have a lot of exchanges that are in the top 21, which I don't like. I'm not calling talks crypto. I don't like them because they're exchanges.
But they're holding a lot of EOS, and therefore they're basically exerting your political power, or what should be your political power, because they hold your EOS. So
I agree with what Colin said, and like they should be. This was Dan's new tokenomic model as well. Like they have to be staked for a certain amount of time. I'm not sure when or if that's going through, but my idea behind this is like, Binance has EOS listed and they have IQ, which is the Everpedia token listed. That's it. They got nothing else.
Can you remind me? I got to get somebody on from I think that
if you're a block producer and you're on EOS and you're in the top 21 and you're in exchange, you should be listing fucking EOS based tokens, god damn it, or you shouldn't be a goddamn block producer, sorry.
No, I mean, you're not wrong. I'm not arguing with that at all.
Like it should be like, Jenner EOS has a charity proxy. Okay, that's cool. You get a check. Like I'm all for decentralization, but seriously, like boot these exchanges who are not listing EOS tokens. Newdeck's great. They're an EOS based exchange, right? But like if you're not listing EOS based tokens, because there seems like I don't know. I kind of think that there's like an Ethereum mafia or something that's like paying exchanges not to list EOS tokens, right?
I think the time for this will come, and this is the thing. So I just wanted to read this off, and then I want to talk about Wrap Bitcoin on EOS, because I mean, again, I don't believe it until I see it, but it's really exciting if true, right? But Proton just posted this up. CNN's declaration that Bitcoin is in a bear market actually managed to signal the bottom and the beginning of the next rally. Incredible. Every single time, you can go back on my feed on Twitter, every single time that a major news network says that we're in a bear market, I scream buy signal, and almost every time I am right, which is hilarious. So daily reminder to not get your trading advice from CNN, or get your trading advice from CNN. Just invert that shit. Yeah. So anyway,
no, it's great. Like, everyone was calling for like a Head and Shoulders. I mean, the charts were looking like they were
could have been right
Head and Shoulders, but
I still, like, until we make a new all-time high and confirm it, it wouldn't surprise me at all if it went to retest 20K again. right? Like, because it's not that'd still be intensely bullish to do a big breakout and come back to where you broke out, right? Like that actually sets up a really healthy long-term chart. So I was like, go back to 20. And if it did, like you would never get past 23, 24, because there are institutional buyers. There's whales out there trying to get, the next piece or whatever. But, if it wants to just keep going up from here, it's not, by all means, threaten me with a good time.
Yeah, and that's the crazy thing about it, I think, is that like we need that volume, right? Like if we go straight to the moon, and then the bear comes, we're gonna come straight back down, right? We want to live on the moon. I think we want to make enough money to terraform the moon and then live there. But anyway,
Okay, just for anyone who's listening who's into science, he doesn't mean that. Because here's what you're not going to do. You're not going to fucking terraform the moon. It's not going to happen. Could you make a dome? Yes. Could you build some caves? Yes. Could you terraform Mars? Maybe.
Well, we got to get to the moon.
I love the idea.
But anyway,
we kind of don't know.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's a fuel and time thing. I mean, they are going back to the moon anyway. As well they should. But anyway, yeah.
No, I know you're a science. Yeah, you've got the DNA channel in the uplift, so I get it. The DNA monument, the atom monument and stuff in the uplift. So yeah, I get it. I'm a literary. I'm trying to make the literary sides, but I think you sidetracked me. But I did want to say one other thing about the charts.
Go on.
Here's the thing, right? Like. And Skywalker, pointed this out, kind of half pointed this out a little bit earlier, about EOS having the potential to scale Bitcoin, and I'm not going to agree or disagree with that. I mean, I think Ethereum in a way has the potential to scale Bitcoin as well.
Not like EOS though, right? Because let's say
Skywalker 100% right, not like EOS. He's 100% right.
But
here's my thing. This is what I think is like EOS has the potential to scale DeFi. And this is what's crazy because DeFi on Ethereum is great if you're a big money player. If you're a big money player, you can actually outbid other people's gas fees to be able to throw them under the bus and make money to get your transaction to go through faster. You cannot do this on EOS. And this is why, people get wrecked on Ethereum. EOS is, as Dan Larmer was trying to do, a libertarian blockchain whereby everyone is on the same playing field because the transactions are so damn fast that nobody else can go into the blockchain and look and capitalize upon somebody else not paying more money to get their transaction through first. And that's what blockchain to me is supposed to be. It's supposed to be an ability to put everyone on the same playing field, whether you're from America, whether you're from Africa, whether you're from, some mountain village in Burma. This is the way, in my opinion, that it should be. And for me, what annoys me about this whole DeFi movement on Ethereum is it's the old world system 2.0. It's not allowing people a free and fair chance. And this is why I love the idea of EOS. And this is why I suspect that maybe EOS is being held back because it's just, a digital cabal of the banking era, in my opinion. Don't get me wrong. Ethereum tech is awesome. What they do with smart contracts is brilliant, but the market manipulation in Ethereum is not workable for the average person.
Yeah, agreed. And even just to add on to what you're saying about the DeFi, I just want to Bitcoin really is having a good day, which is fun. Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, I think the most striking thing to me about DeFi on Ethereum is that if you put $50 in and the market goes crazy high, you now the transaction fees make it so that you won't sell. It creates a counter selling pressure for small holders, right? And so the big people, the whales, can throw money around because it's a fraction of a percent, for them. but it means that they're taking the smaller fish's money over and over and over and over again. Right.
Yep.
Like that friction gets created at a really high level. And I mean, you could make the argument that friction is why the prices on all those things went up in the first place. Because, the retail buyers, the smaller buyers, had that amazing pressure not to sell at any given moment. And I think that's something that on EOS is going to balance out a lot more. But we could see that the prices don't do as well on EOS because there isn't that hodl pressure that exists with that, or we're gonna have to figure out how to create those things a little bit better, maybe with different staking times or whatever it is, right? Like so we have to create the kind of balance that makes the gamification of those things work out. So we'll see. Either way, I'm stoked about it. Like I just got my DeFi position on Wax set up. Freaking stoked about that. Getting a tiny little percentage of all the NFT sales that are going on. Obviously, go watch our last episode. It's actually just on my Twitter Periscope. We should actually migrate that here to make sure we've got that episode here.
Well, there's a link to it below in this post.
Oh, nice, perfect. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so just follow the link below.
You're fucking organized and stuff, man.
I've got obsessive compulsive tendencies, and it's funny because I'm like from an organizational perspective, I'm almost bipolar. I'm not bipolar, and no disrespect to anyone out there who might be bipolar, but I'm bipolar. Either I'm just like carefree and relaxed, or I'm like crazy detail oriented. There was almost a slur there, but I'll hold it back. But yeah, it's kind of crazy. So I really love doing this with you, man. It's awesome. The amount of information that I get to gather and put in the post. And like I said to you, there's no freaking way I'm doing a post every day. If someone comes in and, gives us 1 million wax, then maybe I'll consider it. But
you gotta do at that point.
But I gotta quit jobs. I gotta work in the real world and stuff. But we should probably wrap it up soon, to be honest. But I want to come back to one of the last things that you said, because you're right. And I kind of said this from the beginning when I first invested in EOS. It's going to be awesome if EOS goes back to its all-time high at $20. It's going to be amazing if EOS goes to $100 or $50, which is what some people are predicting. But maybe it never will. Maybe it'll always sit around the $5 to $10 mark. And from an investor perspective, that sucks. But from an adoption and usability, real world overtaking, perspective, that's awesome. If EOS is the network governance token, and it always ranges between $5 and $10, then the majority of people will be able to use the network. And I think this is a problem with crypto, because right now there's a very small percentage of people who are in crypto. And I'm happy that I'm one of them. But one of these days, people will be using crypto like money. They will go to the store, instead of pulling out a credit card and putting in their password, they will scan a QR code on their phone. When they die, instead of, signing a will with a pen and paper, there will be fragmented keys that get disbanded and release them in a timely manner that allow them to access, all of their, father or their mother or whoever leaves the money's wealth, right? This is the world that we're heading towards. We're in this weird kind of speculative stage where the worst technologies are the ones that are holding their value. Now, Bitcoin by far is probably the most secure network, even though it is, potentially not decentralized as what people say. But
meaning they could fork it though. But I think it is true from an attack vector point of view. That it's I think relatively safe that way, right? Could it get forked, whatever? Sure, it can, but then it's just a matter of cleaning up the mess afterwards. Your value is more or less intact, although it could be sort of diluted maybe a little bit if you wanted to look at it that way. But that'd be the worst.
And Colin Talks Crypto often says this, and other people do, but I don't see it that way, because what value has Bitcoin SV diluted away from Bitcoin? It hasn't. Bitcoin is
right. I would say as a possibility, it's possible, but you're right. It hasn't happened. Yeah, and this is something to keep in mind for everybody who's listening to this. Whenever you hear about inflation, right? Really look into, like the money printer go brr, whatever. It's really fucking funny. Oh, the dollar's gonna crash to zero. Guess what hasn't crashed to zero? The dollar, right? And like it's been on this steady decline for a long time for good reason, right? And because there are actual real inflationary, things that happen in the economy that over given enough time decrease the buying power of the dollar. Like we know that is a real thing. And if you get hyperinflationary, you can have situations where currencies get debased. But we're nowhere near there with the dollar. We're just not. Like if you people say it all the time, that's fine. But if you look for evidence for it, you're not going to find it. And that doesn't mean that couldn't change tomorrow. It totally could. But I want people to keep that in mind, because the brand of Bitcoin is why Bitcoin has value, right? All of us speaking about it, all of us believing that it has that value is the only freaking reason that it has value. Inherent value is not. I'll just challenge you with this because I know people disagree with this. Inherent value in these things doesn't exist. That sentence doesn't even make sense, right? Inherent value. What does that mean? It means that thing in and of itself, without our subjective opinion, has value. It doesn't, and it never will. It has value because of our opinions about it, because of the security, which is, again, a principle that we layer on top of it, whatever, right? So all this stuff is made up in our heads. And that's why Bitcoin is winning right now, because of its brand, our level of community belief in it. And honestly, like I love Bitcoin as much as the next person, but it is the DOS to EOS's, Windows 10.
Well, and yeah, you make a really good point there. I mean, I don't think Satoshi ever thought that Bitcoin would, get to $1 million, and it's on its way potentially, right?
Right. Well, this is the thing. Assuming that Satoshi's still around, if it goes from 1 to 100, it can go from 100 to 1,000, right? So those were numbers we could make sense. But to a mathematician, the second something goes logarithmic, well, then you have to start wondering, okay, what counterfactual force or countermanding force would stop this trend that is logarithmic, that is exponential, right? And I mean, I don't see it. It doesn't really exist yet. And so that it'd be, wouldn't we all like to actually talk to him about it, or them, or whatever gender aliens are?
No, but yeah, 100%, yeah. But I think that's the thing, right? Like it took on a life of its own, and now it is gold 2.0, and it will always be gold 2.0. And I don't think people who invested in it early really care if they can spend their Bitcoin, right? If they're not the guy who, bought pizza for
that poor motherfucker.
No, but he's cool with it. Like he's happy. Maybe he's not. Maybe, but he's kind of happy.
Did you see somebody who said it was that guy posted recently? Sorry, I just want to get to Loadmaster's comment here, but he posted, assumed that it was him, right? Said it was him. It's like, hey, I'm actually poor now, so if you want to make any donations, please go ahead. And I'm like, right? Like, I want to give you some Bitcoin, even if it isn't real. Like that. That's good tweet. Good job.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think 100%. Like it sucks, but that's what it was intended to do, and that's a great comment. Honestly, it has to get to a point where the average owner has no effect on price, and I think that might, if EOS was mass adopted right now, that would be like EOS in a way is almost the perfect currency. The problem with EOS is everyone bought into the ICO and they lost big money, and now they're pissed off. Or the people from Ethereum, they don't want to wait. They just keep fighting it because they know they're at least 2 years out from having anything that can even
which is exactly where we were in 2016.
Yeah, exactly.
The Ethereum 2.0 story is hilarious because it's always a year and a half out for the last 5 years. The stablecoin thing, I'm not. And so basically, Loadmaster's comment is it has to get to the point where the average owner has no effect on the price. And I suppose that makes sense. We call it average owner, small buying and selling or whatever. If you go and buy and sell stuff on Nudex, right, you actually can buy yourself with a few $100s affect the price on some of these tokens. which means that, you know, it's not liquid enough to really be stable, right? So it's only going to have small, you know, buyers back and forth or what have you. The idea, though, that, you know, we need EOS to be a stable coin, I definitely don't agree with that. We just don't need it. It's scarce for a reason. That scarcity means the more you know, people come in, you know, the value should be higher, right? It's kind of how it's set up. But the future that you were talking about with the you know, everybody having a wallet and this whole thing, and I think we're seeing it with you know, DEXs and atomic swaps now. It's going to get to the point where you have like a roster, right? Which is kind of like your portfolio in this old world thing. Like you've got EOS, you've got DOT, you've got Bitcoin, you've got you know, whatever token the NFT army puts out, and you're putting all your money in that 'cause it's gonna be fucking hilarious. And you know, when you go to buy something, because I've defined the algorithm myself, and I'm a layman, like I am, you know, not an expert at this stuff, but because I could do it, I know that it can be done. You can set up something that says basically, I want to only sell stuff that is at the top of its market range, right? And I'm going to go and buy a story that Jimmy wrote, right? And I'm just going to click buy. I'm not looking at my wallet. I'm just going to click buy. And whatever he's listed it at, right, with $5, $10, whatever that, like, and it'll be like reference to a Tether variant, right, to a stable coin that we all kind of can use as a reference point. You know, I click buy, it automatically sells a certain percentage of all the things that are in the upper range, and you only get whatever you want. And all of this is going to happen behind the scenes, right? I click buy, a little bit of my portfolio goes in that's at the top of its range. You only ever want to take Bitcoin, and that's all you receive. And neither one of us has anything to do with the guts because we don't need to.
Yeah, crypto.com done a decent job on that. And that's the thing. Like, I like everything that you said, except for the fact that, you know, we need the stablecoin dollar range. I mean, William Quigley, who, you know, was the co-founder of Wax as well. But like, you know, he had this idea. If you look at what he did with Brock Pierce back in the day, before, you know, EOS was a thing, before Ethereum was a thing, with the stable coins, I mean, they were 100% right. It's a really interesting rabbit hole to dive down if you're interested in kind of the history of blockchain. I mean, someday there's going to be a course at the university called the history of blockchain. You know that, right? Like, it's going to be really cool. But I think like what you're saying is awesome, but at the same time, like, I don't know, man, like we got to stop valuing things in dollars, right? Like, I mean,
you can call it whatever you want.
Ethereum went on this like weird thing where they named all their DeFi coins like after foods, like Sushi Swap and shit. I think what we should do is like we should go back to like the early agricultural age, and we should just like, you know, name our standard, you know, chickens and cows and trade 10 chickens for a cow and like get rid of fiat altogether. Like, it doesn't seem like we're able to move into Satoshis for some reason. Like, it doesn't seem.
That's always a possibility, right? Like, I guess the if you're in business, you need to have a relatively stable core of value. Call it the dollar, call it a peanut. That doesn't matter. The name doesn't matter, right? Stable monkey, like, who cares, right? Call it Rody. That's Rody back there, by the way. Hey, Rody, are you dead? Rody muffin. Oh, you're not dead. That's good.
I had a funny. Sorry,
good reference. Sorry. What?
No, you go ahead. Finish.
No, that's just like having a stable reference point that everything can kind of, the values can hover around, but that we can, you know, businesses can sort of make projections on and make budgets on, that kind of thing. And, you know, you can set your price, you know, for your time that isn't going to, you know, fluctuate wildly and mess with everything. You know, something like that is going to be, I think it's always going to be necessary. And the cool thing is, like, with atomic swaps and with dynamic spends and stuff, you know, it won't be anything more than sort of just that relative pass-through point, right? Like, you know, and it could be, you know, the frickin' digital tuning. I don't care. It doesn't matter. Just something that people kind of generally have an idea of, you know, this is, you know, and peg it to like how much milk should cost or something stupid. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like that instead of, it doesn't have to be the dollar, is my point. It's just, that's what most people understand. And so it's the easiest kind of mental pass-through point.
Yeah, honestly, like, people say things should be pegged to water. I mean, in 50 years, probably we should peg them to the value of sunscreen, because, I mean, the ozone's going to be destroyed.
Yeah. Even gold, like, so Bonds actually retweeted something, some gold minimalist, I suppose. Like, oh, gold's actually, it was maximalist. Gold is fantastic. I don't know why everyone's trying to get rid of gold. And Bonds is like, yeah, it's just like, it's kind of relative, isn't it? No. Gold has inherent value. Okay, meet me at camera one, inherent value guy, right? They're going to go and mine a single asteroid. That single asteroid is going to have $100 trillion worth of rare metals on it, including gold, that will swamp so much gold onto the market that gold will be about as valuable as fucking aluminum, which is exactly what happened to, checks notes, aluminum. Aluminum used to be more valuable than gold, and then they figured out how to get it from dirt.
Not they, Elon Musk. Elon Musk. Elon Musk is an alien, because there's no way the Canadian that grew up in South Africa is that fucking smart.
I can't argue with that. That makes sense. It's like, oh, what am I? PayPal's boring now. Let's fucking build rockets. Yeah, that guy's cool.
But I love Loadmaster Rock's last comment. Cheese, maybe my
wife agrees.
And here's my thing with that. I'm cracking up about this, because there's a big problem with gold. Like, what are you gonna do when you go to like the convenience store and you want to like buy something? You want to buy a drink or something. Like, you're gonna file off a piece of gold? No, you're not gonna do that. But I mean, if you take in a block of cheese and you just like carve a piece out, then you got Swiss cheese. I mean, it's great.
Who's the pizza guy now?
But right. I think we gotta wrap this up. I want to say one more thing before we wrap this up, because it cracked me up. You were talking about the buying power, the deflationary buying power of fiat, the US dollar in particular. And when you were doing that, I was looking behind you at your dog. And I was thinking in the back of my head, like, we definitely need a meme of your dog laying on the bed, like that, like, dead to the world, whereby we essentially say, 99% of the population as Bitcoin price explodes. That's awesome.
Give me a high five. Thanks. It was kind of lame, but I'll take it. You're adorable.
But with that, I think we should wrap it up. I enjoyed this as always. It's been an awesome call, and yeah, I mean, you and I can hang out after, but I think the community's hung out with us enough today. And tomorrow, nobody knows about this. Even less people know about this than know about Bitcoin. So I'm super excited about it. But we've got Stefan from EOSIO. Sorry, we've got Stefan from EOS and Van City Outbreak. And Van City Outbreak is like nuts. Like, they basically used real world actors to take photos of people and then make a comic book out of it. Like, how cool is that?
That's pretty cool. I'm excited because I don't know anything about this tomorrow.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. So tune in tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's going to be awesome.